Hello again everyone, Joanna Grant here from Joanna Banana Design Originals. I'm still playing around with my camcorder and learning how to use this new tool, and so I thought I'd show you another one of my journals and just do a quick flip through of it. Again, I often get asked to see my journals and to see the type of art I do and what inspires me and what my processes are. So I thought I'd share this with you as I practice with my camera to get better at doing these little videos for you all. So this is another one of my Strathmore mixed media journals. I just love them. They're very affordable. This is the 5.5 or so by 8-inch one of my favorite sizes to work in. I've always done my art in fairly small sizes, so working in big journals or on a big scale is kind of intimidating for me. But this size, I'm right at home with it because it stays in my comfort level. I always try and decorate my journals covers after I'm done the journal. So this is a recycled piece. That probably won't surprise many of you who know that I love to recycle elements into my art. I would say this piece here is probably 10 years old and sat in my studio space and moved with me for years until it finally became the cover of this journal. What it was a scrap piece of cardboard wrapped in some discarded sunflower themed wallpaper that I then stamped over with some copper paint and some other doodaddy things. And then for the center of the flower, I just used this stamped element. It's actually stamped and then mounted on a circle of chipboard. And this one's an actual paper flower with a ceramic face cabochon for the center. And again, this whole piece sat for many years not being used and finally now has a home as the cover of this journal. So let's take a look inside and see what I got up to on these pages. You'll have to excuse my arm being in the way. There's no way to get around that, I'm afraid, for this process. Alrighty. As many of you know, I have taken almost every, in fact, I think I have taken every one of Joanne Sharp's wonderful art doodling classes since she started providing them online. So this background for this page was an experiment with one of her classes where we scribbly doodled some flowers with crayons, just kids' crayons, and then did a wash of watercolor over top, and of course the wax of the crayon acts as a resist to the paint. So this page stayed pretty empty for a while, just in that background. I also took a class by Juliet Crane, and this is one of the little doodles I did for her class. She does a Whimsical animals art class online, and this was a little practice piece. So she now has a little home along with one of my little sentiments, and that's what made up this page. Very often my pages stay partly done for months at a time, could even be years, before the right elements come to me and say that, hey, I belong here on this page. So I would say for those who want some advice for art journaling is don't worry if some of your pages end up being in a half-finished state for a long time. When the time's right and the right elements come to you, it'll all come together as a finished page. And it is just an art journal where you play anyway, so even if they never got finished, it wouldn't matter. That's the same case with this page. The background was done for one of Joanne Sharp's doodly classes where we were practicing with flowers, painting and doodling with watercolor. That was a real challenge. So the leaves and the flowers in the background were done long time. The page was done for a long time. And then finally I was just playing around practicing some lettering on this pink and orange checkerboard paper that I had. And next thing you know, this page is done. Another example of that as well, where the background, Joanne was showing us how to do doodles with watercolor, and that's easier said than done. After it was dried, I did a bit of Zentangling in the background as well. And again, this page sat for a long time before it was finished. Finally, I put some of my flower elements with my jelly print backgrounds to work to finish this page. And that's kind of the same background for this page as well, where we're painting with watercolors, just loose, fluid lines, and then when it's dried, just doing a bit of lettering and journaling in behind it. So maybe someday this one will have a central image on top of it as well. So these sentiments read, always have fun, be creative, listen to your heart, believe or be creative in all you do, always trust your instincts, find a way to forgive, always be positive, breathe and smile. Keep your spirit strong as well. One page at a time here. Here was a fun exercise. It always seems to be that when I take one of Joanne's classes, I'm away on holidays and have limited art supplies with me. So this was certainly a page like that. The background was, which looks really kind of cool effect, happened to be just a white page where I was wiping other materials off when creating some other piece of art. And I had the star, and the lesson of the day was to do some word collage. And I only had, I didn't have much in the way of markers with me, just these white ones in different thicknesses. So I did the entire word collage in white ink. And yeah, I'm pretty pleased with how it turned out. So the idea was to turn the page around and fill the entire page with a collage of different types of fonts and lettering. Another one that was just a fun background. It's got a lot of glitter on it. I don't know if you can see that, but there's a fair bit of glitter on that page. And again, it sat for a long time with just the wavy lines there, and then finally I stamped on it, or stenciled on, the sunflower type flowers in the background. The centers of the flowers are actually flattened bottle caps with a face image that I cut out, and then there's a resin cover on each of them, so it makes the page 3D. And then the journaling, once I had that in place, the journaling just flowed, and it was done in no time. It says daily art journaling. It's good for you. Go for it. Don't wait. Find the time. Invest in yourself. Just do it. Good advice for all of us. This was a fun page. I limited myself. We had a lesson with one of Joanne's classes, and we were playing around with different lettering exercises and different tools. So I gave myself 30 minutes, and I had to complete a page in 30 minutes. So this is, I think it's alcohol ink, so it might be Adirondack color wash dyes, spritz dyes as well. Could be them. That I sprayed all over the page, and then I sprayed some rubbing alcohol on them as well, which helped the ink spread further and gave a neat effect. And I had this funky little stenciled piece that I'd made on, I think it was some neon yellow cardstock. And so I just cut out the guitar shape, and we had a music theme for the lesson. And I'm a real blues fan, so I chose this quick lettering exercise from a song by the incomparable Albert King. This one's another fun page where we were experimenting with doodles, again with watercolor. It's really challenging to doodle with a paintbrush as opposed to a pen or a marker. So this one was done predominantly with twinkling H2Os, which are one of my favorite products. If you haven't tried them, they're a watercolor with a real shimmer to them, and I'm not sure that that will show up here in the video, but they're brilliant, brilliant colors. And shimmery, and they're just so fun to work with. I love them. So yeah, some doodling and some shimmery twinkling H2O's watercolors. She was a fun page to do as well. This one, the background, again, this was just a messy page where I was blotting off tools from another project I was working on. And I got this stencil. I'm not sure, that might be one of Julie Fayfan Balzer's stencils. I suspect so. And then just used the stencil for the outline of the face, and then embellished her. There's lots of glitter and sparkly on her, and in the doodly hearts down the side. And then in her hair are all the characteristics written that she is. So some of them are happy, at peace, brave, bold, creative, capable, sincere, honest. Yeah, so that was a fun little page to do. And highlighted with a bit of glitter. We always need a bit of glitter in things. This was a really ironic page how it all worked out. The background was just stamped and stenciled and doodled over with the flowers. And I have a real hard time with faces. I've never spent much time doing faces, drawing them, getting good at them. So a technique that was shared with me by a fellow artist was to take an image, a ready-made image, and paint over it, and that helps you get used to the contours and the shapes of the face and how things work. So the image of her looks quite differently. It's actually on my blog. If you ever want to hunt down this lesson, you can see what she looked like before. It was actually a vintage image that I'd printed out on a color printer and then glued her to the page and then painted over her to create the funky hair and the glittery headband and all that kind of stuff. And then it sat, as many of my pages do, for a while. And then it came to me this quote from a Stevie Nicks song called Gypsy, a segment of the lyrics here, to the gypsy that remains, faces freedom with a little fear. I thought it was quite funny after the fact when this page was all done, because I have this fear of drawing faces. So how funny that I had unconsciously chosen this quote to go with the page. But in general, I'm pretty happy with how it turned out. It isn't a masterpiece exactly, but it does show me that if I face my fears, I can have some freedom. Another fun background page. This background was done with acrylics, starting with like a neon yellow and green behind, where I just scraped it all over the page with an old credit card, and I love that effect. I do that very often for my backgrounds. It's simple technique and really effective for a great grungy background. And then some blue on top. There's a ton of tealy colored glitter all around this piece. And then the collage on top that says Dream Sequence. Again, I'm just using up a variety of old things that have been sitting in the studio for a long time. Over top is this acetate cover with some decorative elements on it. The bird. These are old stickers that had been discarded, the silver bits you see, and stamped images. This is a great one. My friend Sandra Fisher wants this one. I've got to remember to send it to her. Suspended illumination. Now there are many, many layers to the background of this page, but again, probably started with, as I recall, scraping on paint with on and off with an old credit card, stamping on some images. I see I've got a bit of fabric worked into the background and some doodles, and then layers and layers of paint. You can see where I've scraped through some of it. It's these lines where I've scraped through. The sunburst are stencils on top. The images are just an image that I've printed onto some of my jelly plate printed papers, and then I've just doodled the black and white cords that they hang from. Quite pleased with that one, actually. It's a fun piece. Using the same technique and those same faces that I had made a bunch of. The background is a jelly plate print that I also oversprayed with some spray dyes. I also did some stacked journaling around the page, as you can see. Stacked journaling meaning journaling where you letter on top of your text so it isn't legible. It looks kind of graffiti-like. So I used the same stamp as in the previous page, only with white ink, and then scribbly doodled around it to make it real rough looking. India ink makes up the stems and leaves to give it that really dark, dark black. And the quote says, "Nature speaks my language." I love taking quotes out of context and incorporating them into my art. So this is just a line I found in a magazine, line of text, and just cut it out. And then as I'm putting a piece together, a quote will typically speak to me. Inside me is a thin woman screaming to get out, but I keep the bitch quiet with chocolate. Another jelly print background, enhanced with some white stacked journaling. As you can see there, all the white in the background is just journaling on top of itself. And then a fun image I've put together with different elements, including a few, the cupcake, the escutcheon plate lock, and the bird from my friend Kristen Hubick at Retro Cafe Art. Love how this page turned out. Really fun. Takes me back to my first days in working in collage and mixed media, doing crazy characters like this. This turned out to be a sweet little one. I'm quite pleased with it. Again, this is a jelly plate print background that I've printed on deli paper. Deli paper is a wonderful medium to do monoprinting on because it's so thin. When you go and use it on another page or with other elements, it just seems to melt into the background when you glue it onto your page. Just love the effect. So here is a very simple page, really. The heart is a different jelly print that's just been glued on top with Have Faith, and then a sweet little vintage image of this girl. I really like how you can juxtapose a vintage image with the grungy, fun jelly print background. It's really effective. Similar technique for this page as well. It's jelly plate print in the background. All the hearts are different pages, or in this case some of them are stenciled, with a vintage image and the saying, "You are loved." Another jelly print background with different jelly print hearts. Faith, Hope, Charity doodled on, and doodly cords that they hang from, and then outlined with India ink. Love how that India ink pops off the neon colors of the jelly print. This was an exercise for another Joanne Sharp's classes. We were to love, 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 do what we love. So I drew these dangly hearts with the word love incorporated into the shape of each heart without actually outlining them. And this is done in watercolor and colored pencil and markers. Inhale, exhale, the only things I need to do. My bird jelly print projects have been very popular, and I'm actually going to start selling prints of them shortly, as soon as I can get them done up nicely in a good quality paper. These are just jelly plate prints with a bird outline. Very pleased with how these have turned out. Another one of the word collages we talked about. This one just in black and white, all different types of text, different sizes, different, some are serif, some are sans serif, just another word collage. And this was fun to do, just to fill in the space with all kinds of interesting and inspiring words. Another one of my sassy irreverent collages. Again, a jelly plate print in the background. A little cupcake girl with a stamped head. You say I'm a bitch like it's a bad thing. Yet another jelly print background. In fact, everything here I think is jelly print pages. So the background, the body, the head, the arms, and the stars are on the dress, if you will, are all different jelly plate prints. Real buttons used. There are no walls here. Some of my crazy little floral characters I love to do with my jelly print backgrounds, and my kind of signature Zeddy-ology type stems in black and white stripes. These are fun to do. The faces of these are just a scan of another one of those face cabochons you've seen like on the front cover of this journal. I just took a scan of the actual 3D ceramic cabochon so that I could use the face images for future projects like this. And then the background is one type of jelly print, and the flowers, petals, are another. These images are just mounted on some neon yellow paper with a thin border cut out and then placed onto the center of the flowers. Quick and easy page, very simple, very effective. And then a bit of doodling in both black and white. And that is it, my friends. That is it for this journal. Thank you for being with me as we flip through it and look at some of my crazy art ideas. I hope I'll see you again soon. Thank you for watching.